Stream has started. Let's talk about it. So what are the exact plans for next season? Like what are we supposed to be looking forward to?
So, alright, well, as of right now, I'm deleting Black Ops 4.
I'm streaming Destiny 2. I don't care about Black Ops 4 right now.
Um, but all seriousness, what they said that as of right now, there's several changes that's going to happen starting this season. First off, when it comes to guilding Grandmasters, when you guild a Grandmaster, that Grandmaster will no longer be available at the end of the season. Mainly because of the fact that if you've beaten it as a fire team leader, you will not be allowed. If you've beaten it in a fire team or as a fire team leader, you will not be allowed to access that. So that Grandmaster, which I can understand, it will basically make grinding weapons for grinding the Grandmaster weapon and gear ridiculously easy. Like for example, if Lake of Shadows was the GM and was not the GM of that week, and Glassway was, but Lake of Shadows was in that same season, players would just go grind Lake of Shadows. Why? Because it's fucking easy. Right now, they're making it to where if they're making it to where one, Glassway, if Glassway is like that week's strike and Lake of Shadows is not, Lake of Shadows will not give out the reward. But
You see, that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing. It would be a GM either way. The player base, they don't care how they're getting it. It's an RPG shooter. This type of thing has been in RPGs for years. It's a thing that RPGs are known for, farming the gear that they want. If it's through an easy strike, so be it. Like, that's how our player base is. I understand Bungie wants to make things difficult for us, but this is not how you do it, Bungie. And my other thing is that they're making retarded changes that don't need to be changed.
For example, let me just go ahead and clarify this to your audience right now.
My audience, there's nobody viewing it.
You know what I mean. The people who are probably going to watch this in the future or whatever. Here's another thing. They're removing Infamy. They're removing Valor, and they're removing Vanguard ranks, and they're changing it all to seasonal ranks. For example, it's going to be called Crucible ranks, rank 1, Gambit rank 1, Vanguard rank 1. They're adding Trials ranks, rank 1. And all that's going to have a whole tree that you're going to get in regard to rewards. But in my opinion, I don't give a fuck what they're called. I don't give a fuck what they're called.
Like, I didn't care. I didn't even care when the beginning of the game launched. Like they've always been useless. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what they're called. Nobody's gonna care either way.
Yeah. The only use they would have is the only use that I see them have is in regards of if you're a new light trying to reach that power.
New lights don't care. They don't even know about it. Like, I looked at it the other day. Like the only way to properly see what your rank is if you were actually looking at the companion app, because it highlights that. But at the same time, what has it ever gotten for us in the first place? Like, the only way I could ever see them doing anything relevant to that is if they change how it works entirely. That would be an update I possibly would be okay with, because it's actually doing something to benefit the game. Not something that's so useless that, like, we barely even know what's happening.
Well, here's another thing that they've also addressed. They even addressed the fact that they said it themselves that gaining light levels is way too easy in regards to pinnacle grind.
Like, yes, it is.
And okay, me as the reader, reading the 12 this week, I'm like, okay, so what are you changing then? What are you going to change? Are you going to change it for the benefit of us or for the benefit of you? If you're going to change it for the benefit of you, you already know, Darren. I've told you once before. Me and you both even had this discussion when, like, a week before Master VOD came out. We even said, if this game flunks out at Witch Queen, we're fucking done. We're going to move to a different RPG and play it. And play it for the raid. Because at least that RPG will probably have hope. Bungie, we gave them chance after chance after goddamn chance.
Like,
every season,
they start. You see, this is when things started getting bad. Things started getting bad in Forsaken. Like, after Forsaken came out, we were all incredibly happy. But the second new light started and they boosted everybody up to the light level that we worked hard to get to, it kind of triggered a lot of players. A lot of veteran players just hated what Bungie was doing. Bungie did not have to do that because it ruins the game for new players that are wanting to get into it. I understand the game is too big of a grind for some people, but that's the point of a fucking RPG. So people can learn to do what they want to do.
And exactly. And here's another thing. Okay, we've got what, 4 raids, 5 raids out. We got S-Witch, Garden, Deepstone, Vogue. And here's another thing that they've got to do, okay? If they want this game to succeed, they're going to have to do away with that whole thing. Make the last time that they raise everyone's light level up be at Witch Queen. Make that the very last. No, hear me out before you curse at me or anything about this. Make that the very last time they'll do anything for the players. At Witch Queen, they're going to have to. They can keep Last Wish at the base level because it's a beginner raid. At this point, they can keep Last Wish at the level. Garden, it should be up at a medium level, at a medium light level. Players have to grind up a little bit to do it, but they'll be able to do it. And they can even make Garden have powerful gear. Deepstone, make it like just under Vogue, Like Deepstone was what 1260, Vogue's 1310, 1320, or 1300. I mean, like make it all 50 light levels in between. First raid you can encounter will be Last Wish. You can do that right from the start, the moment that you get good gear. Make Last Wish 1150. Make Last Wish 1120.
No, you see, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here's like the whole thing that you're talking about. Here's why I don't think that they should make Last Wish 1120. By the time Witch Queen comes out, 1120 is not gonna be the minimum like power.
Oh, it'll be 1150.
Like I could accept people being thrown at 1100 by the time Witch Queen comes out. The reason being for that, it gives them something to grind for.
Oh, me too.
The players have been getting it way too easy. I love this game because it gave me a challenge, but it's at a point where things are just not there, and the player base is just shrugging it all off like it's nothing. But you see, like, that's what's ruining the game.
And
like, the player base isn't fighting for this.
And see, here's another thing. We're giving this as a warning to Bungie.
A warning.
Fuck up Witch Queen.
Like,
fuck up Witch Queen. We're fucking out of here. This is on behalf of the entirety of the player base. On behalf of the entirety of the player base. If they fuck up Witch Queen, we're fucking done with Destiny 2, and we're gonna move to another RPG. And you're gonna wish that you made the game the way it should have been from the very beginning. At the start, the game was good. It had a decent story. It had a good raid, Leviathan, and then they tried to build it up from there. All right, but Forsaken came out. Okay, everyone still had to grind. The moment they made it to where the new light system became a thing, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? Alright, now, me personally, I earned up to light level 380 during year 1. I quit during year 1 because there was no content, the lack of content. I came back on year 3. Alright, of course, I was a little old noob back then. I had to relearn everything from the game. Of course, that's how all returning players are. They have to relearn some of the mechanics because they've either forgotten or they've changed. Am I lying, Darren, or am I not?
Or you see, I was not there with that. I was 360 in year one, but I fought my way up to power level. I grinded at every moment of every day to get up to level. But then Bungie just slaps every player in the face who ever did that. It just gives everybody a light level. Like, and I'm not saying that you were one of them, but you... Well, you know what, I am saying that you were one of the people who were given the light level. Because you said it yourself.
Wait.
You said it yourself.
I got to 380 on my own without...
No. That's 380. You came back in year 3 when the power boost to noobs was a thing. So you technically, you did not have to, you know, spend all that time grinding because they straight up just gave you the light level to start guarding.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole thing. Like, you're a prime example of a person who hates the fact that they did that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. I'm not happy that they did that to me. For one, I'm happy I spent 24/7, 365 days of a goddamn week. Well, you know what I mean. But I'm happy that I did all that because of the fact that I got to 380 by the end of year 1, which is the max level which was the max level, min starting level for Forsaken. When Forsaken came out, I was happy. I couldn't afford Forsaken, so I had to quit playing D2 for a while. I came back in year 3, thinking that I was still going to be that same 380. I was like, okay, so I'm going to be happy that I'm going to have all this content to go through. It starts off at 750. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You see, we went from 380 to 750. Grinding for that was not easy. Grinding for that literally made me want to cry half the time. But I did it. I did it because I love the game.
And see, here's the thing. I wanted to be a part of that, but was I ever? No. Reason why? Because I couldn't afford to keep playing the game. And then the moment that I finally did, I was expecting somewhat of a challenge. I was ready to have tears coming down my eyes for my first raid completion back. But what did Bungie say? Nah, fuck them kids. Them kids can go suck a dick for all I know. It's like, Bungie, what's the matter with you? Bungie, we love this game. We don't want it to die yet. Save it. It's on my door. You screw it up again. At Witch Queen, I guarantee you, every single player in the entire player base will be gone. And I'm not just saying this because of my experience. Not only have I said it, you said it yourself there. I've heard at least 10 of my friends say that if they fucked up Witch Queen, this game's done. It's gonna be they're not gonna be coming back until either the game officially ends and they can finally have content to play through. Because come on. But let's see here. Let's go all the way back to, I want to say Shadowkeep. Okay.
Shadowkeep was a poor excuse of a DLC. I am sorry. It was.
Exactly.
Like,
let's go back to Shadowkeep, okay? Like, Shadowkeep, it starts us all facing off against Nightmares. Okay, Nightmares, cool concept. Let's see how this turns out. The final boss is 3 Nightmares of what we've already fought before. Not even a freaking demon hound or whatever, like, Nightmares, like, are supposed to have a similar biology to the darkness. Come on, I wanted a darkness boss that didn't look high, that didn't look fallen. I wanted it to be it. Like a dark entity, not just anything from Vex to Hive to Scorn to whatever the f else to Taken. Like, come on. Like, the final boss of that DLC was the sorriest excuse of the boss. The
final boss of the DLC was the Fanatic. Look, if I wanted to play
boss that was
Forsaken, I
already a
would
final
have,
boss.
like, if I wanted to play Forsaken, I would have just straight up went back to Forsaken. I would have replayed Forsaken.
I would have deleted the character and started again. Like, come on.
Exactly. Like, if I wanted to play Forsaken, I would have. I wanted to play Shadowkeep. That's the whole reason I bought the expansion.
And let's move on to Beyond Light. Beyond Light introduced us to the first darkness of us. Okay,
Which
cool
was
concept.
cool. Which was cool.
Right.
I enjoyed that.
Exactly.
But then
Exactly.
the
Cool concept.
content drought
But-
came like fast. It came fast and hard, and it shouldn't have. It was a new expansion. We were expecting big things, not just a raid that you can fly through in 10 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
Like that is a
Let me-
seasonal raid, if anything, at most. Like seasonal raids, yes, they give out pinnacle gear. That's normal. A seasonal raid, 30 minutes if you're 20 minutes if you're speed running it.
Yeah.
An actual expansion raid should have been on the level of Last Wish or Leviathan. Like it should not have been as small as it was, and I'm ashamed to say that I grinded that raid, which I did.
And so
Over
here's the
100
thing, like-
completions of just
Like,
that.
you know, here's the thing. Garden doesn't have that many encounters, but it had more content than freaking Deep on it. Why? Because it was a hard raid. Players had to grind their light level out to make sure they were prepared for that raid. Once they were prepared for that raid, they had to be ready for any and everything, because there was a chance that their team was absolute garbage. And if their team was garbage, oh holy crap! You better pray you made it through. You made it through the first two encounters, because once you reach that first boss is gonna give you the ass whooping of a lifetime. Once you beat that first boss, you make it the final boss. Oh, yeah, you're not gonna finish the raid, fam. Nah, see, the final boss was so mechanically challenging that it made it the raid that it should have been. Same way with Riven. When Riven first came out and there was no cheese, no one had discovered it quite yet at that time. Riven was just as complicated and just as big of a mess. You had a trash team, you were not getting that done. I'm sorry, but still.
You see, the whole garden, like the whole purpose of like why like we're saying these things. We appreciated like how difficult garden was. We appreciated that.
Like,
but my whole
something.
thing is I'm bringing it right back to where the whole argument and rant was going on. Like the whole reason why we're having this conversation right now, the whole reason this is going to be turned into a video, and like I want Bungie to know that they are fucking up their game entirely. They need to pay attention to their to the bulk of the community who's actually saying this. Top streamers such as like Sweatcicle is saying that the game is not what he wants. Players are saying the exact same thing. Destiny is dying and Bungie is just sitting there making shitty updates that nobody gives a shit about. Like for example, like the update that just came out, I didn't even know what it was for. And it turns out it was for something even more useless than it was something just useless again.
And like, let me just say this. Even then, like, it took me having to look up the 12 while I was sitting on the toilet, while I was sitting on the crapper, to figure out what the update was for. Once I figured out the update was for, I'm like, what the hell? They came out with a whole ass update. They could have just done background maintenance and call it a fucking day, not make us spend an hour and a half downloading straight up dog shit that I literally would step in if my dogs were in here right now. Like, let me tell you something, Bungie. I'm entertained more picking up dog shit than I am playing this fucking game.
You see, like, if Bungie paid attention to what was actually going on and why people are leaving and why people are upset with their game, maybe they would be able to figure out that the players just don't just want raids, they don't want fixes to things that don't need to be fixed. They basically want Destiny 2 to be Destiny 2. Like, they want the content that they were promised. They were like, we wanted an entire game.
And since the game's release, we have not had that. We had that at the game's release in probably the first couple of DLCs, but the moment that Forsaken came out, it started going downhill. Sure, Season of Opulence probably had the most content the game's had since its original release. How much content? Probably not that much.
No, we had the Menagerie, which was huge in its own. Everybody loved it. I loved it. We had Crown of Sorrows, which was even bigger than Deep Stone. Let me just tell you that.
I can tell you this. I had the one time that I actually beat Crown of Sorrows, and I believe we were with that asshole Justin, not Justin, Joseph. I'm sorry, Justin, I wasn't calling you an asshole, my bad. But anyways, when we had that asshole Joseph on our team,
like we're not even talking about Joseph. Let's not talk about him. Yeah, let's just talk about the fact that Season of Opulence was the best moment of Destiny 2's career ever, and it has not had a single moment. Not a single time was it ever as close to that.
But I'm just going to say this. That raid, I'm going to tell you, hands down, if that raid was still out, I would probably be grinding clears on that. Why? I love the raid. I love that raid because it's Hive and Cabal kind of like fused in together in this mushy kind of stuff. It's weird, but I like weird. Weird is good. Reason why I like Garden. Garden is hard, but I love Garden because it's fun. Garden is currently, I hate to say it like this, Darren, don't kill me. Garden's my favorite raid in the entire game. I don't have many completions, but it's my favorite raid. My clears may not match up with it being my favorite. Like, I have 70 VOD clears. Why do I have 70 VOD clears? I don't even fucking know at this point. Why do I have 70 Deepstone clears? I don't even know at this fucking point. Why do I only have 9 clears in Garden? I don't even know at this fucking point.
Because because the player base just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
like, and I hate to say it, but I blame the player base for that one thing. I blame the player base for not wanting to do difficult content. It makes it so players who want to do that stuff, they can't.
Have to miss out.
Like me, I don't have many completions, but that's just because of the simple fact that, like, when I first did it, teams were just not entirely there. But the teams that were there, and the teams that I joined up on, I got kicked out of in a heartbeat because fucking people just didn't want to fucking do it with players who weren't in their teams. That's my whole thing. LFGs don't do shit.
And here's another thing. Like, I guarantee you, Darren, the first thing Bungie can do. I actually have this little. Where's my notebook? I have it somewhere. There is several things that Bungie can do. The first thing, light level cap. Keep the starting light level at 1100. Okay. At this point, we don't give a damn anymore. That's been said and done. You had the light shit set up. Keep the starting light at 1100. No one cares anymore. But the moment that you do not bring players down to 1120 for content that's been out for years now. Keep them at the light level that they deserve. If a player goes into Master Vogue at 13-10 light level, punish them for it. Why? Because we want hard content.
Like, we don't want it to be impossible. Master Vogue, I've seen people literally, teams have fallen apart to Master Vogue. But it's teams of people who have literally over 100 completions of Vogue. Vogue itself should not be that hard. I would have understood it being a little difficult. But at a point where most teams find it literally impossible, that is one of those cases. It's one of the reasons why I don't have Garden. Because some teams just deemed it impossible.
Why is Garden impossible? Because of final boss. Once you get the final boss, everything is fucked. Almost.
You know, that's not even the entirety of the case. That's not even the entirety of the case. You see, Garden mechanics aren't even that hard. Like, I understand people say it's the toughest of the bunch, but you gotta think. In terms of difficulty, Last Wish is even harder. In terms of mechanic heavy, Last Wish is even more mechanic heavy than any of the raids. Garden did not
why
take
does
as
everyone like Last Wish?
because Last
But
Wish
why does
is
everyone
special.
like Last Wish? Exactly.
Like they tried to remake
players
Last
were-
Wish, but they can't. Now the only way I will ever accept them doing it is if they do it in Witch Queen.
And here's another thing. Even if they don't, even, like, Witch Queen's gonna come out with its own new raid. A raid that's probably gonna be on the scale of Last Wish, or even bigger.
No, no.
Here's another
you see,
thing.
here's the thing. The way that Bungie's going now, I don't even think it's gonna be anywhere close to that. They're Beyond Light. Deepstone was supposed to be an amazing raid. I was incredibly hyped for it. I was ready for it, but then it was a huge letdown. The World's First was 5 hours. World's First for Last Wish, 18 hours. It literally took them all fucking day.
It wasn't even just all day. It almost took them all night too. Because if they had reached the 24-hour threshold, it would have been the very first raid that Bungie made that was deemed impossible to complete on the very first day. It would have almost been like an Easter egg run on a fucking zombies map in Call of fucking Duty. Like, come on, Bungie. You almost had us with that raid.
But then they come out with a poor excuse like Deepstone and expect us all to be happy with it. No, it's an expansion raid. My whole thing is that like Deepstone was on the scale. Yo, what's going on, Tyler? Deepstone was on the scale of a seasonal raid. But Spire of Stars was on the scale of an actual expansion raid. I would have much rather had Spire of Stars than Deepstone.
And see, here's another thing. Spire of Stars was actually so hard that it was the only raid that players didn't even, that I don't even think any player in the world hit 100 on. Why? Boss. That's fucking why. Boss!
Yeah, hey, don't irritate my viewers. I understand you're pissed at Bungie, I am too, but do not irritate my viewers. You know, yes, Tyler, to answer your question, I am friends with you on PlayStation, and to quote on what you were saying, Dustin, Boss was not a fucking beefy bitch, because you could cheese it.
With Wardcliff. But
yes, with Wardcliff.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, day one, no one knew about that strat though. I'm just saying. Alright? And I hate to say it like this. Day one Spire's a raid lair. Deepstone's an actual legitimate expansion raid. Spire took longer than Deepstone to solve.
Someday we'll establish communication with the war mind.
Hey, I hate to say it like this. Vogue is an old raid that came back. Vogue took both normal and challenge mode. The world's first race for that was way longer than Deepstone. Deepstone's an expansion raid. Vogue is it's
a reprised raid. It's a reprised raid.
Yeah, it's a reprise raid. But reprise raids, players already kind of know what's going to happen, and yet it still took half the players' base almost half a day to
half the player base couldn't even get past Templar. I know because your team didn't get past Templar. My team barely got past Templar. Like we beat it with the skin on our fingers or whatever that term is.
See, the lowest that my team got to Templar down was probably down to a quarter of a health, maybe even lower. The reason why we couldn't get it, the team just would not communicate past the 12-hour point. Once we hit the 12-hour point, I already knew things were gonna fall apart. Everyone was getting tired. It was already 4 o'clock. It was already 6 o'clock in the afternoon. My dinner was sitting on the stove, ready. My parents were just waiting on me to finish the day one race. They knew that I couldn't get up, that I wouldn't be able to get up unless we could go to the bathroom or to get a drink or something until the end of the day one, which would have been 1 o'clock the next day. That night, I had tears in my eyes because I couldn't solve because we couldn't solve the raid. Why? Because because it was an actual hard day one. I'm
What
pretty
new
sure
ghost
they're-
show, Tyler? I don't know which ghost show you're talking about, Tyler.
He's probably talking about the Delphi Solo Flawless one.
Oh, the Delphi Solo Flawless one? Yeah, I dismantled it the second I got it.
That's another thing. Bungie, if you're going to give us cosmetic rewards for completing hard content on Solo Flawless, at least give us shit that we would actually care about. Like, don't give us this ugly ass shader and bullshit that we already had like 2 years ago.
I'm tired of the fucking EAZ, dude. I'm tired of everything they do over and over and over again.
Festival of the Lost and Dawning is going to be a part of next season. I will say this.
Dawning's going to be the exact same thing. I guarantee that. Festival of the Lost is going to be the exact same thing. The most unique thing that they did is they let us vote for the armor.
Guardian, I hate to say it, Darren. Guardian game next year, it needs to be bomb. And the reason why I say it like that, here's what I want to see in Guardian games, okay? I want it set to like a scale of Menagerie. Like, make a Menagerie kind of thing. Make a whole ass arena. Like have a, for example, have a boss Guardians had trapped and arrested that was taken to the prison of elders, and then have that same boss be put into an arena, alright? An arena where other Guardians can actually watch, like, you know, NPC Guardians, where they can actually watch us take on the boss. And like, make it a 6-player activity. Make it a miniature version of Menagerie. That's what I thought Guardian Games was going to be of. Not this half-ass, strike-ass bullshit that we had last
All it
season.
is bounties, dude. Guardian Games is a poor excuse of a seasonal event.
Or a shank.
Yeah, like that's what I was expecting from Guardian Games. There.
The patch
like,
is not the patch has not happened for Anarchy yet. It's happening next season.
The skies will remain
Basically what the patch was for, it was like a little notification about the whole bullshit happening next season. And here's another thing, Darren. This is something that you're probably going to want to talk about too. Exotics.
Don't put fucking exotics in the season pass. Don't put new exotics in the season pass. We want to grind those out. At least I do. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who wants to actually do exotic quests again. We haven't had a legitimate exotic quest since fucking World Line 0. The last quest that we had, like actual like legitimate exotic quest that I wanted to tear my hair out to, would have to be Thorn. Thorn and Last Word. Those were the last two exotic quests that I would have actually considered exotic quests. They were hard. I appreciated that. I had a great time doing them. I struggled.
And see, here's another thing. Okay? Not just make exotic quests. Make the exotic engrams actually drop the exotic weapons. Like, come on, Bungie. I don't want to have to pull out a exotic weapon that I need for a certain raid because of the simple fact that I just can't simply afford a mushed up upgrade module for when I already have a set loadout going into different activities. I have a raid loadout. I have a GM loadout, I have a dungeon loadout, I have a PvE loadout, I have a PvP loadout, I have a general loadout, and I have a funsies loadout. That's basically 7 different loadouts right there.
Okay, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna make a comment on how many loadouts you have. I have 1. That's my only comment. I only have 1, and you know me as literally the most overpowered person you know.
Well, like
sure,
like,
I mean, I make adjustments. I make adjustments to my loadouts, but that's it. I only have one set that I ever use.
And see, like, that's what I normally do too. Like, I make adjustments. Like, when I say loadout, I don't mean that I have like 7 different sets of weapons and armor. Like, hell no. For example, GM that involves this season, GMs that involve give me a combo real quick.
What do you mean combo? It's literally Anarchy and Grenade Launcher.
Overload barrier, easy, Fatebringer, Vision with Anarchy, unstoppable barrier, Vision, Blinding Maze, Anarchy. Yeah, like literally, I'm just changing one weapon out of that entire thing.
Like,
and like, thing that I think that should happen. I'm going to just say it like this. Another thing that I think should happen is, aside from new story content, a story, not just story. I mean, story that actually.
We need to have a legit. We need to actually have a legitimate fucking expansion. Beyond Light, which is grindy.
Exactly.
I want something that I can consider actual story.
And see,
like I pay. I don't even know how much each time an expansion comes out. I spend.
It's $60.
Like
$60 for the base expansion.
Like I have spent well over. I spent thousands of dollars on this game alone. I expect to get what I pay for.
Honestly, same here. And here's another thing. Alright, Bungie, if you're gonna release an expansion that has that's like $60, come on, man. Don't just give us one.
You see, here's the thing. Call of Duty gives us more with only 15. $15. Exactly. You get what? Some maps and a zombies map.
You get one to two. Heck, Darren, Zombies Chronicles was what, $20, and we got 8 zombies maps plus new double zones that we can access. Wait, what?
It was 60.
For what?
Zombies Chronicles. I bought it when it first dropped. It was 60.
Mine was 30.
Yeah, well, you paid. You got lucky. No, but like the whole point is Bungie is not giving us what we're asking for and what we're paying for. That's the whole point of this stream. That's the whole point of this video, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And the reason I'm gonna leave it at that is because it is now 12:16, and I do not want to continue playing this game with nothing to do except for play an occasional strike or two. I've played 4 strikes. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I want you guys to comment down below what your thoughts are on the whole Bungie issue, because I know for a fact I am not the only one. Whoever watches my videos, and I hope Bungie gets this too, because they deserve to be slapped in the jaw on this.
And Bungie, I swear, if you choose to ban us over this video and you like actually watch this video, look, we mean nothing cruel or insulting about it, but fix the game. The game breaks every season. The game breaks at the start of every season. Players do not find that enjoying. And then the players that do get in often finish the seasonal content within the first day and a half. After they do that, you choose to release stories every week, bit by bit, as if you're teasing us, like we're dogs with a treat. Like we're dogs and you have a treat in your hand. Don't do us that way. If you're gonna release a season, release it right. Release it with content already ready to go, a possible new map to explore, and even a raid if you need to. A raid dungeon or an activity similar to Menagerie. Not this seasonal bullshit that you do every fucking season. Battlegrounds, that was okay, but it wasn't a raid, it wasn't anything.
And it didn't last.
Override. Okay, 6-player activity. We wanted a 6-player activity, but not this.
Here's one where
that involves moats.
No, here's something that's even worse. Wrathborn hunts.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Get the picture yet? I just threw my mic halfway across the room. Why? Wrathborn hunts was total bullshit. If you're gonna release Wrathborn hunts, do it right. Or don't do it at all. If you
All
knew
right,
in
but
that,
I'm gonna leave it at that. I hate to block your thought, but I'm gonna shut the video off and leave it at that. Alright, I
yes,
hope you guys enjoyed this rant. If you feel the same, please don't be afraid to comment down below. If you guys think that we should do something about this, then please just let me know, and we'll try to set up like a poll so we can get people to vote for a better Destiny. I know that's kind of cringy, but I'm a vet.
it's something that we need.
I'm a veteran Destiny player. We do need a better Destiny. Alright, well then guys, I will catch you later. Please like and subscribe the video. If you dislike it, then okay.
Yeah. Also, guys, if you don't mind me saying this, also,
No,
guys,
no,
if
bad,
Destiny 2
bad,
doesn't,
bad.
If Destiny 2 doesn't work out and you've got an idea for another RPG, comment. I don't care. I watch the videos too, so I mean, comment another RPG that we might enjoy. Something better than this bullshit.
Alright, I'll catch you guys